Hi, everyone. There are so many things I can't wait to share with you about the last few weeks, such as my week in Aspen with the Aspen Institute's executive seminar, where we dove into Plato and Aristotle and other amazing texts, Dr. King's letter from Birmingham jail, other timeless texts, many of which I've read and are worth rereading, many I hadn't encountered before, in order to think about not just the decisions we make as leaders, but the kind of people that we are. That was beautiful. And then the leadership retreat I hosted at the in Colorado Springs in Palmer Lake, a community that is very, very small, but has been very divided in recent years over a proposed Buc-ee's, a proposed gas station that has torn this beautiful community apart. And so I hosted a retreat with 25 leaders of the Pikes Peak region from a half a dozen communities across this area in Palmer Lake with several mayors partnered to get together there and think about how do we rebuild after years of division and decades of civic decay? How do we rebuild? I want to share all of that with you and lessons learned, but right now at this moment, I want to talk with you about grace. And I got my kids up early this morning. We had a dentist appointment and rushed them out the door, half asleep. My daughter was still in her pajamas. And we got to the dentist, and I left the dentist kind of mad at my children. They had cavities, and my son last summer had a mouthful of cavities and thousands of dollars on tooth extractions and crowns and a lot of suffering for my poor little 6-year-old. And I was annoyed that there were more cavities today. And I was also annoyed that they weren't even able to do more of an exam because my kids wouldn't keep their mouths open. So mad at them for having cavities, for sneaking candy, for not brushing their teeth, for not opening their mouth for the dentist to be able to get a full assessment. So mad at lots of things. And so we load the kids up in the car to leave in the car, and I'm on the phone with my husband sharing with him this news, and I'm pretty graceless toward my children. And then I hit a car in front of me, a trailer at a standstill that just kind of snuck up. I didn't see it. There was no excuse. And I felt sick. I felt so sick. And, we pulled over and got out, exchanged info with the driver, and I pulled my kids aside and said, look, Mama was being really graceless with you. And I'm sorry. I was graceless for your mistake that you have cavities, that you haven't brushed your teeth, and yet then Mama, right after being so graceless with you, Mama made a mistake. And Mama needs grace now. And I'm reminded of this lovely insight by Tim Keller, who's kind of like the C.S. Lewis. He's passed away now, but he was the C.S. Lewis of our generation. Just very ecumenical and calm and intellectual, cerebral with his integration of philosophy and faith in public life. And he had this great line that I'm reminded of right now where he says, the unforgiving heart is the unforgiven heart. When we're not mindful of what we have been forgiven of our own shortcomings, we're not as fluent with grace and forgiveness, and it's more difficult for us to forgive others. And so in that moment when I was very gracious with my children, I needed to be humbled. I needed to be reminded of my shortcomings and grace that that I have received and continually need to receive. And so I apologize to my children. I tried to repair. I tried to turn that into a teachable moment, and how we're going to make mistakes, but we need to be, again, I say this a lot, fluent with the language of grace and forgiveness. So I am grateful that everyone's okay. It's just an inconvenience, to, of course, us, to the other driver, and senseless, letting my frustration cloud my judgment and allowing that to happen. So have grace. Have grace for yourself today. Who can you extend grace to today? And take a moment to think about times where you needed grace and someone showed it to you. The unforgiven heart is the unforgiving heart. But let's be reminded of times where we were forgiven, and be more quick to forgive others and show grace to others. So that's my word for you today. And I hope that you have a wonderful week, and talk soon.